lane assignments in 3B. The Alberto in 1, Trend West in 2, Fairweather Interstate in 3, Silver Dollar Casino rocking in lane 4, the Marie Yachts in 5, and Graham Trucking in 6. We're at about 3 minutes or so. There we go, just about to 3 minutes as the boats are out on the water trying to find just that right position. And let's talk about the boats, the drivers, and what they have to do to get in the win column in this one. Steve David has got himself a first. Mike, he's got to be happy about that.
He's got to be happy about that. He's got the inside lane, which may or may not make him happy. The inside really isn't the best lane for this particular boat. He doesn't have all the boat speed he might like to have to draw everybody down into the first corner. So he's going to have to think his way around the race course.
Bill Rocky, the pepperoni's been flowing down there in the pits.
That's right, and they're all smiles down here. I asked Steve, did you change anything from the last heat? He said, why change it? We won. He's going to go out there and try to make it 2 in a row here. Everybody pretty happy in the Alberto camp right now.
Why change indeed? Gig Harbor's Terry Troxel in the Trend West inside.
Talented driver, experienced driver, aggressive with a crew chief in Ron Brown that knows a lot, but the boat's been a handful. Hope he can keep it under control.
Guard, have they figured out how to keep that boat stuck to the water?
Yeah, Chip, you talked about aggressiveness. Well, they've changed the wing to a less aggressive wing, and that's going to slow the boat down a little bit, but they think they can finish first. What they don't like is they don't like the Alberto boat in lane 1 because they know Steve David is such an aggressive driver and so tough, but they like their chances in this one after finishing second in the first 2 heats.
Fred Leland's got himself a pretty good driver here in Doug Brow, doesn't he, Mike?
I think he does, and if the whole thing can hold together for him, Doug's got a pretty good lane start position also in the 3 lane. The question is everything buttoned down to allow Doug to race? We'll find out in just a moment.
Our staff psychologist, Dr. Ken Muscatel, has got a couple of fifths today in the Miss Rock, the Silver Dollar Casino boat. That comes in the number 4 lane. And then we go, well, Chip, talk about Ken.
I thought the kindly doctor, did a great job in that second heat, even though he got fouled. Frankly, I've seen some of the best driving I've ever seen out of Ken today.
We're hoping the Rock crew, by the way, brings some Hawaiian shirts up here to us. That's what we're looking for.
And you better hope they don't move in next door to you, too.
Here we go. The Miss Marie Yacht Center's coming up. That's the one with J.W. Myers, a couple of fourths, and that could have been a lot different had he just stayed on his side of the start line, Mike.
I like this rookie. J.W. is showing me a lot today. He's made a few mistakes, but boy, he has a lot of boat there, a fast boat, and he has a lot of smarts. This time, if he puts everything together, I think he's going to be right up there.
Greg England, he really is a confident young guy, isn't he?
Thought he had a win in that last heat. It was taken away from him, they feel, but the key is his confidence, Steve. He takes that into this heat and into the provisional if he needs that to try and get into the final. So confidence is definitely helping JW.
Well, let's see if Jerry Hale, 60 years young, can get this Miss Graham Trucking finally up and running and get in some lap time here on the course. Certainly no chance to make the final, but
he's out of business. Dead in the water in the south turn. That's been his story all day.
Well, that's just too bad. Here they come, Mike.
Coming around off the arc now to come down to make their start. Steve David will lead them from the inside lane. Ken Muscatel's got a head of steam in the 3 lane. It's the U2 we'll watch go into the corner. Wins right at him. J-Dub on the outside's coming at it nice and strong too as they come down into the first turn. Right at the moment, just on the inside there with the lane advantage. That, of course, is the oh boy Alberto, but with a head of steam on the outside is J.W. Myers.
Well, it looks like J.W. Myers just went dead. He just went dead in the first corner for no reason. There was nobody, you know, in front of him or around him. I don't know what happened.
Well, that changes the complexion now because this puts the pressure on the Trend West boat to try to get some points here. We've got some problems with Doug Brow just now crossing the start-finish line to start his lap, but he's very, very down on power. All right, now the question is, will Troxel push an ill-handling boat hard enough to try to get a win? My guess is that he'll try it for a lap or so, Chip, but then he's going to allow the oh boy Alberto to run away with it.
He doesn't really need to at this point, but you know what I'm starting to look forward to is that provisional. Look at who we have in the provisional and how fast those guys are. That could be as entertaining as the final.
Troxel now bouncing pretty wildly as he goes into that corner trying to chase this boat, the oh boy Alberto, as it comes out of that same turn, and Troxel's not letting him take too much real estate away from him.
You know, J.W. Myers made a great start. It seems like he's shown some great talent in every heat, only to have either a driving error or this must be mechanical.
Down the back chute, it is the oh boy Alberto. And Steve David did not have to work for it nearly as hard as perhaps he thought he was going to have to when he came out here to make his start. Right now he's got the lead. Terry Troxel in second place in the Trend West is staying within striking distance. But the clock is ticking down in terms of the number of laps and the amount of time he'd have to overcome. And he'd be wiser not to try to do that right at this moment.
No, not at all. These guys now, I mean, they're right where they need to be, get what they want out of this to get in the final. You know, but the provisional comes up very quickly. So these boats, like by the time they get J.W. Myers in here, they're not going to have much time to get that boat turned around, ready for a heat that they have to win.
Down the back chute now again on lap number 3. It is the Oh Boy Oberto, the team from Madison, Indiana, a boat that had the bottom ripped out of it in qualifying and spent much of the time in the Budweiser shop, but has come back to show that everything was glued down correctly because it's running well. We also lost Doug Brow in the back chute. Unfortunately for Doug, the Fairweather Masonry boat is out of order and no longer running in the back chute.
You know, it's hard to make a call whether Trent West has really helped their boat ride or not, because I don't think he's pushing it really hard. But we know that he's got to get that boat settled down to be able to run in the final.
Yeah, concession made here. He's not going to run it real strong, but he will have to have it glued down. It's still pretty loose as it comes down across the line. Still pretty loose.
Look how low that cockpit was down there. They've lowered the center of gravity of that boat, and I think it's really going to help it down the road.
That actually has a very long sponson compared to some of the other boats as well. Very interesting what Ron Brown is doing with this hull. Down the back chute for the last time. It is the Oh Boy Oberto as you watch the Trend West exit the turn. The Oberto is about 4 rooster tails ahead now as it goes into the north turn for the last time.
You know, poor Doug Brow is having a great day, and now he's just trying to limp this thing around and even get any finish at all.
Well, he at least got it restarted to try to get some points, but it's going to be provisional for Doug, and I think he knows that. Here's the checkered flag displayed now for the Oh Boy Oberto, second win of the day. Nice afternoon going for the Oberto sausage boat. Steve David takes the flag. Second place, Trend West, and here comes Terry Troxel down the line. Still riding bow high and still riding loose, but he gets second place.
Wow, I tell you what, Mike, this provisional is going to turn into one heck of a boat race.
Starting to look real sharp, isn't it?
They're going to, guys like J-Dub, they're going to not have very little. They're going to have very little time to get the boat turned around for the provisional, and then if they win the provisional, they're going to have very little time to turn it around for the finals.
I don't know what happened to Ken Muscatel. He had an awfully good start. I thought he came down to the start very nicely, but mechanically, obviously, nothing working right for him because he immediately gave up all the territory. He's still running as he comes down to get the checkered flag, but he trails the field by almost a full course.
Ken showed me more aggressiveness today than I think I've ever seen out of him as a driver.
Needs a little more boat, a little more reliability, and that could be a different picture.
You bet.
So a bit of a parade if not competitive directly as a result of the way things shook out. Might have been a different package altogether if JW's boat had held together.
You know, that boat, besides JW doing some really great things as a driver, making some mistakes, that boat has looked blindly fast. He got a great start that time, and he was going by everybody. By the time he got to the first corner before the power went down, he was really smoking.
Yeah, he really had a good start, and he had a good head of steam into the first turn, but you got to keep it coming out, and you got to keep it for 4 laps, and he wasn't able to do that.
It's the first time that I've really seen this team kind of hit their stride this year. You know, it's a great team with a great heritage. They've won Gold Cups, they've won championships. They've been down on their luck, but they showed some speed today.
Did indeed. So Oberto returns to the dock. Let's see if this time Mr. David drives it all the way to the pier. Looks like he will.
And once again, the salted beef jerky and the pepperoni sticks and all the rest, the celebrations continue. And you know, this is great, the mixture of these two communities, Madison and the Oberto team here in the Northwest. You like to see that those kind of combinations probably going to want to keep this sport alive, Chip.
Yeah, it has what's kept the sport alive. You know, now I think it's got to grow and it's got to bring in some new corporate interest. And you know, look at the fans, look at the television broadcast. It's here. We just need sponsors to come in and really embrace the sport for what it is.
Look at Steve David.
Yeah, he's a little bit excited.
He likes that.
He knows he's got some pepperoni coming to him, and he just can't stand it.
I wonder when the last time Steve had a couple of firsts in heats. because he's always been a pretty good driver, but has not always had the best of equipment under him.
Absolutely. In fairness to Steve, he is a great driver, and he's one of those drivers, and it's funny how a career can happen where you come in with the right experience, the right background, but you never get the break to be with a team that makes you a winner. And I think Steve David is the kind of driver that if he'd have gotten a break and been with maybe 1 or 2 different teams, he could have been a champion.
Didn't he walk away? I mean, he kind of laid out for a couple of seasons, didn't he?
He did. He's also an offshore racer. Now, an offshore boat is the kind you see racing out in the open ocean with 3 guys, and he did very well at that. He's been president of the American Powerboat Association. He's made great contributions to powerboating.
Well, we're going to hang on here for just a second because I think Steve is going to step right off that boat, and he's going to be with our pit reporter there who's going to chat with him and find out just exactly, Bill Rocky, just exactly how that ride went. Go ahead.
Steve, that's 2 in a row. What's going on here?
We owe the Obertos so much. I know Dorothy and Art are at home today with their company watching this, and without the Oberto people and all of the hundreds of employees they have, this wouldn't have been possible. They've just supported us through thick and thin. Friday, when we broke the boat, Obertos were behind us, and the Budweiser shop. This was such a family effort, man. This just got to be the coolest thing there is.
You kind of cruised in that heat. I think you thought it was going to be tougher than it was.
I did. I had to run hard for about a lap and a half, and then after that, just set the cruise control at 170, and that did it.
Cruise control.
Yeah, Oberto has cruise control, air conditioning, 10 CD disc changer.
And it's run by pepperoni.
It's run by pepperoni, 97% fat free.
All right, they're still smiling in the Oberto camp, Steve.
And, well, they should. Did you have a CD changer in your boat, Chip?
No.
No,
I didn't
think
have
so.
any of that stuff.
Yeah, I didn't think you would. That was before your time. You barely had radio when you were driving. So there he is, Steve David and his team members, and a great work that they did as well. Getting that boat after the transom got torn up when they threw that prop back on Friday. Here are the unofficial results of Heat 3B. A bit of a parade, as Mike said, but still, nonetheless, the points go to Oberto. There's Trent West in 2, the Miss Rock and Ken Muscatel, and then the rest. A tough day for the rest of those boats. We'll be back with more from the General Motors Cup at Seafair after this.